So I think it must have been 15 years ago now, if I'm not mistaken, that a lot of people in America were losing their jobs. People were getting laid off left and right. There was a bad economic downturn. It was under the Obama administration, right? 15 years ago?
2008, you're talking about?
Like, yeah, 8, 10, that period of time, yeah. It must have been under Obama. And at that time, I remember the media narrative was pushing people to learn to code. That was the trend, right? I lost my job here in Midwest America. Well, too bad, you should learn to code. At the very least, you can say it's callous, but it was probably good advice. Or was it? Shelbi?
Turns out it was terrible advice, actually. And that is entirely because of the rise of AI. And I know that that's a big, scary thing that's happening right now, right? But if you actually look at the numbers, so take computer software engineering, the unemployment rate is roughly 6.1%. That gets even worse at 7.5% when you talk about direct computer software engineering, right? That's double the unemployment rate for an art history major right now.
Ooh.
Imagine that. Isn't that crazy?
It's a different caliber of job, though. Like, the people who are employed in software engineering are making significantly higher than being a Starbucks barista.
That is probably true, I dare say. But the other thing, too, is obviously there are more people in tech than there are in, these more like professor-centric professions, right? But not only are there more people, there are also more jobs. However, the fact is there are things that can be replaced more easily with AI, is now what's being talked about, versus other things. So recently, Microsoft actually talked about this. They took a look at, across the board, like 40 different professions, and they kind of categorized them based on like AI accessibility scores. And they all have one thing in common, whether you're easily replaceable via AI or not, which is basically the quality of the data sets that are associated with that profession. So what that means is this. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? The jobs and professions and fields and everything that have very, very clear data, not fragmented resources to train an AI model. That's what can be replaced. So we're talking about, unfortunately for us, journalists are at the top of the list, writers, it's really interesting. And then on the other side, you have more things that are trade-based were also very high at the top of the list for those that cannot be replaced so easily, right? We're talking about shipbuilding, embalmers were some of the interesting picks that I saw on the list. Things you cannot so easily have a computer do. So that's kind of bad news for white-collar jobs.
Okay. Show host, I'll throw in there.
Right? Maybe we should have the primetime AI version and have it compete head-to-head and see what happens.
With computer programmers, is that just because a lot of people are doing vibe coding, where they're just telling the AI to code it for me, bro?
I know. I was one of the guys in 2010. I went and learned to code.
Oh, really?
Because they were learn to code. I was like, all right. I
Man, you are influenceable, huh?
Yeah.
The media just tells Josh something.
I went and learned to code.
And now I'm in media.
Part of it was because I was I was a journalist at the time, writing. I still am, but I was a print journalist. And I was covering a lot of the cyber attacks at the time because in 2010, that was a big story. And I figured, well, if I'm going to cover cyber attacks, I need to know how this stuff works. And so I actually took some private classes on coding. But one thing I found interesting was when I learned how to code, a lot of the guys who had PhDs and stuff, they don't know how to code.
Well, if you can do, if you can't teach.
Well, a lot of them study theory.
Yeah.
Just like they do in everything else. They study theory. And so a lot of them don't actually know how to do it. I know a lot of people now where they're saying that basically, a lot of coding people you hire for businesses, it's developing basic functions okay, I need a new minor button on my website, or we need this back-end database, or you're troubleshooting something, this thing breaks, this button doesn't work. You can just take the code for that specific thing, put it in the AI, tell it to fix that function, and it just fixes it.
But that's kind of the I don't know if it's code or cope or what you would call it, people saying, oh, the AI really can't do what I'm doing. Because I have looked through a lot of forum posts by people who are employed in software design and engineering, and they do say that some complex things the AI cannot really do.
To that, I say yet.
Yeah, probably.
Well, no, I've been hearing different things. I know some guys who are top tier coders, and they're saying that if you use the latest AI models, this, not the free ones, but the subscription based ones, they're better than any coder already.
So here's my question is how long will people still know how to code? Because as the next generation comes through and they can just ask their AI to do it, what's the point in learning?
Well, you know it's fun. I'll say this real quick. You know what's funny is my daughter's taking some classes on medieval culture and stuff.
Coding? Oh, coding.
But it's interesting actually. That's what happened to Europe after the fall of the Roman Empire. The Anglo-Saxons, Rome fell, and they didn't know how to do anything or maintain anything that the Romans built. like they didn't know. They had basic air conditioning in ancient Rome. They had a sewer system and plumbing in ancient Rome. When the Romans left, the Anglo-Saxons didn't know how to maintain any of it. And the teacher for this, Roman class, this medieval history class was basically, she said to the class, "You all think you know how to run everything in your lives. As soon as people forget how to do it, all of it's going to go away. You're enjoying what you have now. None of you know how to build or maintain any of this stuff."
Yeah, I've
Hold
heard
on,
that. I've
you're
heard that
being
for
a little
years.
bit too cynical because that's true of everything, and you're like you're pointing at AI like
No,
this.
I'm talking
No,
about
it is
everything.
true.
I'm talking
It's
about
really
everything.
true about everything,
Algebra
right?
with
I'm
the
talking about,
calculator.
look, if this couch, I could probably fix this couch if it ripped. But if my air
Can't fix
conditioner,
a car anymore.
I can't. I can fix some older ones.
Older ones,
Yeah, but
right?
not
But
the
all the
modern
new
ones.
ones.
If my air conditioner broke, I'm out of luck. Or if my toilet broke in the underground plumbing system, I'm also out of luck.
And now they have the AI, the 3D printing, but of whole houses, but with concrete.
Yes, yeah.
Right? And they can
Yeah.
program
And
in where to
food.
leave the room for the wiring and all of that.
And
So-
organs.
Well, you know
another
what's going to
important
happen?
thing.
We're going to end up like a bunch of cavemen living in an advanced society that we don't understand. That's going to be the future generation.
And the question is, does anyone understand it?
I think
But wait,
Shelbi-
back-
Okay. This,
Wait,
this,
wait, wait.
job.
We've got
Hold on. I have a number for you. Wait.
Please.
Just one thing. 75% of coders are now using AI assist tools.
See, cavemen.
75%.
and the 25% are like what? They're the high level or the low level who don't know how to use the tools,
That's up for debate.
right?
But there is a silver lining, though. So I was looking at a few things, and I'm sure you probably came across this too. There was a report. It was called the Global Public Opinion on AI, and it surveyed people from many countries. And I found that 2/3 of people in India are very worried that their jobs are going to go away, and these are mostly people in tech. And then 72% of people in Pakistan. But is the silver lining this? That a lot of those tech jobs that are going outsourced into India or Pakistan, are they going to come back to American programming?
AI.
One
Or
thing on
American
that, like customer support, that actually was very, very high on that list of jobs that are
yeah.
going to be replaced by AI. So
here's
that's maybe a valid worry.
A repercussion
dealing
of all
with that,
this.
yeah.
The student loan debt crisis, right? And there is some tendency, people who got their student loans, years and years ago and don't understand the present situation to be like, those chumps, they got themselves into the problem. Why should the government bail them out of the problem? But if you think about it, all those, coders, those computer engineers or whatever who went to school, now the tuitions have inflated because of the ease of student loans, right? They inflated tuition because of it. So they got these huge student loans, probably weren't counseled about, the long term, or at least said, oh, you'll get a good job, don't worry, you can pay it off. And they've got a real problem. They can't find jobs. They're, got to service this debt. They're still giving bad loans out because the loans are all backed by the government. So it has nothing to do with your ability to pay back. So it's just bad lending practices.
But you
And
also
then-
can't declare bankruptcy on those loans. So
Right.
I blame
Well,
the universities. It's really their
But then there's
problem.
also, it's delaying people, buying houses or starting families because they've got this debt to pay off. It has, a lot of real world repercussions.
And I have a really horrifying number for you on this too. So if you look at young men across the board, recent college grad age, if you look at the unemployment rate for college grads versus not college grads of the same age demographic, all that, the college grads are 4 times higher.
Wow.
Even
Yeah.
the people in coding and that
Yes.
sort of thing. Yeah.
But here's the
Trades.
thing. Coding was always going to be a bubble. Because when people were saying you can get a great job in coding was when most people could not do it. And the very few people who could do it were in super high demand. And what's going to happen now is that the average guy who needs a website built, you just jump into a program and it just codes it for you.
Templates.
You can code basics basic software with a few strokes now. It's nothing. It's going to render it such an easily accessible industry that it's basically like no profit in it, I think.
Well, yeah, but then I think the economy is flexible enough that it'll move on and something else will flourish. Like,
Well, you know what it is?
tell me.
I'll tell you what it is. So
I'm wrapped with anticipation over
Get
here.
this. No, I'm excited about it. I was reading, because I'm a journalist, I subscribe to all like the government, alert stuff.
Okay.
Department of Labor came out, and they've declared that they have record numbers of people, like students, enrolling in the trades, because part of the BBB, the Big Beautiful Bill. What? That's what they
call it the BBB?
That's the first time.
That's literally what they call it.
It is what
That's
they call
literally.
Oh, really?
What they
I
call
like that.
That's the official
triple
name.
B.
Yeah.
That's the official name. That's what
I've
they call
heard
it.
triple B.
That's what they call it. And so they made it so that you can get Pell Grants for the trades now. So it's like the new college.
And
And
they
that makes
increased a
total
bunch
sense.
of internships or apprenticeships and all, putting a lot of money towards it.
So instead of learning to code, we can learn to shipbuild.
Well, yeah, there you go.
Learn shipbuilding.
I love
The
it.
other thing too, I mean, the main argument, like this comes up a whole lot in the whole AI takeover of jobs sphere, right? If you read about it, basically one of the main arguments is like colleges are not preparing people to live in the world and succeed in the world that we now currently live in. They're preparing young people to succeed in the world of 10 or 15 years ago.
And to identify like 70 or 80 genders and stuff, right?
Well, okay, and here's another aspect to this. When I was a kid, everyone had a a job, right? Your summer job, your part-time job, whatever, and people could actually work their way through college, with their part-time job. But now it's even hard to find those because there aren't the same entry-level jobs. There's a lot of government regulations, so it makes it actually even hard to hire.
And your tuition is $90,000.
And your tuition.
Is that true in
exactly.
Canada too? Is the tuition like super high?
No. It's much higher than when I was in university, but it's still nowhere near what it is in the U.S. Not even.
And that's the other sad thing about it too. You go online and you read anecdotes from people that are really struggling with this. I read one in particular that stuck out to me. This woman was top of her class, did everything right, had all the internships, like every piece of experience in your mother you can have as a young person, right? She sent out something to the effect of like 6,000 job interviews and got like a call back, like one.
Here's my prediction. My prediction on where everything's going. AI runs everything. They control the world. You can't get a job in coding. The Amazon bots are flying everywhere delivering. There's no more delivery jobs. All the taxis are these new golden Tesla taxis. What do? You homestead.
I love it.
Yeah.
Did you know
This
they
is
will
the-
give you land?
Who's going to give
The
you
government, the
Get
government will
mules,
give
too?
you land to homestead, and they even build the service road for you.
Go out west.
Certain countries actually have programs like this now where they're paying you to go out and live in the countryside and just like
Italy.
yeah.
I'm wondering what
Yes,
I'm doing.
Italy
okay.
is one of them.
But the countryside is usually like, there's
nobody there. It's
There's
old
nobody there. There's
people,
no delivery
and the only
services. It's
business you can have is like a nursing home.
It's like, wow, $1 for this castle. Let me just go. Where are the neighbors? Nothing here.
Some people would call that a benefit.
Yeah, but there's no infrastructure, so you're kind of responsible for everything. There's a reason it's so cheap.
That's why you should learn the trade so you can fix your castle.
Okay, any final thoughts, Shelby?
Yeah, there is one positive thing on this. For everything, the crazy numbers, the crazy headlines, according to the studies that I read, there is no one profession that has been 100% taken over, right? And that's still like a ways off,
Yeah.
right? It mostly comes down to like the type of work that is done in each profession. Like a lot of the kind of work may be able to now be done by AI, but there's still specialized, technique, whatever you have it in each
So you're saying we
profession,
still
right?
might be here next week?
Hopefully.
Okay.
Well, okay, there you go. We'll be here next week. Tune in for that. All right, I know exactly what you're thinking. That was a great clip you just watched. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to follow and also check out either these videos or maybe they're on this side. I don't know which side they're on, but we set it up. So these are the videos that YouTube is suggesting to you as the best ones that you'll probably like the most. So check them out, this side,